From Christopher Nolan to an Instagram creator, every single video or film you have seen has been built on a timeline. But here lies the problem. Timelines don't understand what's inside your footage. So you spend hours watching, rewatching, scrubbing, making notes just to make that perfect cut. But that changes with Cutsio because Cutsio will give you an AI agent that will understand your timeline and will help you explore it instantly. No more spending hours just on that. Let me show you how that works. So this is my Cutsio dashboard where, as you can see, I have my whole video library. And let's say we start with this one. This is a YC podcast about building AI for healthcare, and it's almost a 31-minute podcast. Obviously, this is a finished product, but let's assume that you are going to get this as a raw footage and you have to make sense of it, make cuts and make some highlights, all of that stuff. So what you or anybody traditionally will do is open this in a workspace, or as you call it, as a timeline, and it will look like this before Cutsio. So I'm going to close this and your timeline will look like this without the AI assistant on the side. So it's going to be a video on the top and a horizontal timeline on the bottom. That is it. But here's where things change with Cutsio. First of all, we have this searchable transcript, which is sentence level accurate. And pro tip, it works in any language. You can search for keywords here. Let's say I search for health, and every single place where health is mentioned is automatically timestamped, and you can just click and go to that moment instantly. Now that might be there in some editors, but what's not there is this AI assistant, right? So let's say we ask it to summarize what exactly we were given as a raw footage, which otherwise would have taken us hours to manually scrub through and see what's inside, which was just done by Cutsio in like 5 seconds. So this is the summary of what this podcast is. Now you will think YouTube and all those tools do have summaries, but that is for the final product, not for the raw footage. You're not going to upload your raw footage to YouTube just to get summaries. I can also ask, can you give me 5 highlight points of this video? And if I do that, see what happens. Cutsio is going through all the footage and ingesting everything that is in there, and it's going to give me 5 points as I asked. But the magic lies in here, right? So first of all, this play reel button is super cool. And if I press this, see how the timeline will change. And it just made those highlight cuts on the timeline non-destructively, which means you can just go ahead and play only those points like this and just see if it makes sense to you or not. Another thing, you can also export DaVinci EDL or XML of only these highlight points so that you have full control of how the final product is going to look like. Cutsio is not replacing you. It's helping you save hours of your time by giving you AI superpowers. And also, you can export these clips individually if you're going to use it in any other way, right? And if I clear this, we go back to our traditional timeline. Let's do one more thing. So let's say we're going to ask, can you give me some viral hits that I can use for Instagram or TikTok cuts from this footage? Okay, so it's going to analyze which parts of this footage can be viral hits depending upon the context, depending upon what was spoken, and it's going to give us not only the list but the reason why it thinks that they are viral hits, right? So we have all these. So if I play reel, it's going to cut these cuts over the timeline, and you can also export these as XML or EDL or as clips, whatever you wish. Let me show you that as well. So let's say if I export EDL of this one and I go to DaVinci Resolve, and all I'll need to do is to just import the XML we just got from Cutsio. And here is my pre-cut timeline with all those highlight points. And I can do my fine tuning. I can decrease or increase the duration. I can make other cuts. But the hours of your time, which you would have wasted otherwise by going through this footage to get through these points, was all saved. And all this was ready within seconds. So that is one cool feature of Cutsio. And there are a lot more. Do check it out.